All right, welcome back to another edition of Subaru swapping / building. Today we've got a big day planned. Hopefully we can finally get all the goodies on the engine. The nitty gritty stuff is done, and hopefully now we can get the fun stuff on there. Hopefully the plan is by the end of the day today that we have a fully dressed engine almost ready to drop back in. If we could get this thing ready to actually sit back in the car and just sitting in the car, it's more weight to push, but it's one step closer to not having to push the car. So that's the plan for today. Hopefully it goes according to plan. Never usually does, but we'll see how far we get. Stay tuned.
Christmas has come early this year as we have all these brand new parts. Truth be told, Christmas or Santa actually came months ago and all these parts have been lying around because of so many problems with the build, but that's neither here nor there. Let's keep it positive. We've got our brand new Blob Dominator 1.5 XTR ball bearing, stock inlet size, should give us a nice amount of boosts. ID 1050s because you never have enough fuel pump to match it. AM 320. Some stainless steel kits for the fuel and ABCS lines because, like many factory ones, they cracked. We got some fancy gold fuel rails for our top feed conversion, as well as all of the lines and fittings that we need for the top feed conversion. So I think we finally have everything where we can dress this engine and get one step closer to making a little bit of explosive power. Time to get it all in the engine. No more excuses. Nothing left to wait on except myself. So let's get it done.
Alright, so there's one more thing that we wanted to show you guys. Working on some AN fuel lines over here, so I figured he'd show you a little bit about how that's done. What you got going on over here, Justin?
So got this really nice kit. Comes with this Teflon braided line. Should be great. A little bit bigger diameter. Won't absorb a whole lot of heat in there as well. Bunch of different ways you can do this. I'm spoiled now, and I actually bought the stuff like the clamps to clamp it into the vise. The other parts to be able to like get the ends on. But I mean, realistically, you can do this at home with pliers. If you have a bench vise, if not, you basically just stick the hose in there and you start turning. This holds it all nice so it doesn't mar up the aluminum finish, so that way it looks all fancy. But realistically, like anybody can do these. You just gotta cut it to length. You screw this in. This now swivels, and then you start running your flexible line. It looks really nice and professional, but it's something that can be easily done at home by anybody. You don't even have to have these fancy wrenches. This is literally,
just mention the wrenches.
No, this is literally just so you don't mar up the aluminum. So we're trying to make it look pretty, but functionality-wise, you can do this at home with, you know, generic tools. So, all right, I just want to take a second and talk about a pet peeve of mine, something that I really hate doing, but it's necessary for cleanup and everything, is wire loom. You know this stuff, split loom, whatever you want to call it. It comes in a whole bunch of different sizes. You try to get it like on the thing, and you get like halfway down and it's like bending. You can't get, it's just a pain in the ass. I absolutely hate it. It pisses me off, especially when you're doing it on vehicle. So I've got this nice little kit, has all these different size adapters for all the different size hoses you're gonna use, and trust me, it's worth every penny. Start way down one end, and you just slide it and work it. And just look at that. It just seamlessly going right on there. I'm not cursing, I'm not swearing, I'm not taking a pick to try to get these things that are folded over. Like, it's just, that was absolutely perfect. So now, I don't hate wire loom as much. I'm just looking to protect this fuel line from chafing on a couple of spots, but I don't want to even touch wire loom unless I have these things anymore.
So the areas that are still visible, we're going to be able to see this pretty blue in here.
Yeah, this is all going to be hidden underneath the intake manifold. You can't see anyway. I don't even know what the names of these are called anymore, but you can pick up a super cheap set online, and trust me, it's worth $10, $20, whatever the kit is. I mean, every single size. I mean, you get big stuff. Honking, look at the size of this. You can,
those things you could fucking put like a girl puts in their hair.
Seriously, right? This is the next generation. Oh, hey babe, I need to borrow your hair clip, so then I can put on some split loom. So do yourself a favor, if you work with wiring harnesses, looms, anything, buy yourself a cheap set of these things, have them on hand, and especially when it's on vehicle, like this is really easy because I'm on the bench. When you're trying to do it on the vehicle, this makes a world of difference. When you're on the ground.
If we can find the name of these or a link to them, we can put the link in the description.
Yeah, we'll post something. It's probably some generic kit, but whatever the name of the actual tool is, you know, split loom installation tool.
We're not sponsored by them or anything like that. This is just something.
There's no plugs. This is just my pet peeve of things that I hate doing. So any way I can get around making it easier, better for me. Let's take a second and talk about TGVs, acronym for Tumble Generator Valve. This has a delete, which is a very common modification. What's exactly the point of having this flap, Dom?
Well, basically what it does is it breaks up the air charge coming in, so it literally makes the air tumble into the cylinder. So what it'll end up doing is it more efficiently fills the combustion chamber. I mean, mainly for being able to still achieve maximum efficiency and good gas mileage. But when you want to run more boost, a bigger turbo, those valves become basically nothing but a restriction at that point. So that's why people will take them out. They'll even bore it out a little bit. You can see it's actually been bored out.
So there's a couple different ways. A lot of people will just they'll take the motors out, and then you still got a shaft in between as a restriction. Sometimes they'll just take off the butterfly and leave the shaft, but a true actual delete is you take off the actuator, you take the shaft out, you have to cut it, and then you want to bore out this whole material in the middle there, so that way it's perfectly smooth. And I'm dripping fuel everywhere. Now, you don't have to have a machine shop or even own a Dremel. You can buy these already pre-deleted. It's a little DIY for yourself if you want to get some spare parts and you do it yourself, or you can just buy a kit. There's two different applications: side feed injectors and top feed injectors. So you got to make sure you want to at least match the TGV to the type of engine that you have. So just be aware of that. Other than that, it's technically a free modification if you know how to do a little bit of welding and a little bit of cutting. And then you can get all that boost in there. We have tried a few times unsuccessfully to get this exhaust mounted up onto the new engine. It has a nice Catalyst Grimspeed up pipe. This is really nice, so we don't worry about any kind of small bits of a catalytic converter or pre-cat breaking up and shooting up into your turbine and doing a whole lot of damage. Unfortunately, we're having a little bit of problems over here getting it mounted up. As you can see, we're doing some tapping and threading. What seems to be the issue going on here, Dom?
Well, so factory Subaru studs don't have this little I don't know what you really want to call that. The factory Subaru stud is fully threaded.
So it just bottoms out into the head?
Yeah, it bottoms out into the head. So the problem we were having is that this was too short, so we couldn't put a nut on it. So we stole them off the other engine, and whoever put these in, they bottomed it out, and it messed up the first couple of threads.
So they decided to send it home thinking that they were going to go all the way to the end of the threads. Instead, they just bottomed that out into the first thread.
Yeah, exactly.
So now we got some gnarly first threads that we're trying to clean up so we can put new studs in it
The only thing that I can think is if you're running a header, maybe the flange for the header is a little bit thinner.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's probably the only thing I could think, that if this is something that came from...
More stories on this engine. It tells us constantly all these stories,
Still
and we find them
haven't
out.
told the story about the engine.
No, yeah. The sad, bitter story. You know what? That's a good story for when it's in the car and running, because then I don't mind talking about a sad story because it's past. It's now running and behind us. So stay tuned. We will find out all the things that have happened in this engine once it actually starts up and works, and I'm not losing my mind anymore. So a few more stud holes and to rethread, and then we can hopefully get this manifold on. Then we can mount the turbo, and we can stay on track for today.
Another fun little thing. These are a nice addition to just about anybody's toolbox if you don't have one of these. They're tap sockets. So instead of getting the tool that comes in the kit, you know, the thing you actually have to thread, clamp the tap on there.
Yeah, with that T-bar that always hits things and never has enough room to spin all the way around.
These are tap sockets, so these just fit right over the top of it like that, and you can use a ratchet. So
Boom. Tech tip.
yeah, tech tip. Yeah.
Full of those in this engine because it's making us pull out all the stops and all the tools.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, stay tuned. Hopefully we finish this thing up and wrap it up today. Alright, so I don't even know what number we're up to, but add this to the list of stupid problems that we run across on this thing. All done with the parallel top feed fuel conversion, ready to bolt down the TGVs and then the intake manifold on top of that, and I go to drop in all the bolts. You know, they start to thread in, no problem, and then for some reason this one just drops right down. So probably won't be able to see. Trust me when I say that though it looks like there's threads in there, they are flat as can be, so much so that this just flops in there. So this will be our third helicoil on this engine, and probably like our 7th or 8th thread repair, because we just finished up on the other side of the head with the exhaust. So I mean, if you're gonna mess up the exhaust studs, why not mess up the intake bolts too? I mean, go full whammy and just send this thing. So, yet another thread repair, another roadblock, another delay. Just another part of this sad, sad story of this long block. Story of my life. All right, I should really start a count because I've lost it at this point, but what's going on with this newest problem that we just found here?
So what cams are in these?
They are BC, I forget the actual, that they're 272s and whatnot.
Okay. So,
but they're aftermarket.
All right. So whoever put the dowel pin in, all right, to locate the sprocket, they put it in probably with a ball peen, something like that, and they mushroomed it over. So I'm trying to put these sprockets on.
Just another part of this sad, sad story of this long block. Story of my life.
And they won't fit. So this is new. I don't think I've done this in
literally
all my years doing this. I have to file down this dowel pin.
Yeah, I'm sitting here with this little baby file, just lightly unmushrooming this. That's a new word.
Oh yeah, there we go.
So that I can get the sprocket to fit.
And it's the same thing on the other side.
On the other side. The fun just don't stop.
Kind of tough to see how mushroomed it is. Camera doesn't really enjoy being that close. But these things, the dowel pin obviously locates the sprocket, and then it should just kind of like fall into place. You shouldn't have to torque it into place. You shouldn't have to draw it into place with a bolt. And you sure as shit shouldn't have to file it to get it into place. But, you know, with this engine, it just doesn't surprise me anymore. Nothing does.
We're really going to have to fill them in on the story, because they're going to be like, where in the hell did they get this?
Oh, God.
Did they put this together? Is this the quality?
Yeah, I know. Is this the hackest build ever? I swear we didn't put it together.
No, there's a story. It'll all make sense once we let you guys in on it.
It all makes sense once I have some sanity left. All right, so we'll do both these things. We'll get them both filed down and get the sprockets on. And then maybe we can get a belt drive on this thing. So stay tuned for the next hiccup. I mean, I don't want to jinx it or anything, but that's just the way it's going.
All right, guys, so another day has ended. Not as much progress as we would have hoped, in the sense that our goal was to finish this today.
Oh, wait. Welcome back to the exciting conclusion of nothing.
Yeah.
Once again.
Pretty much. So, where we left off, you got pretty much the entire new fuel system on. We got the exhaust manifold. We talked to you guys about the studs already. We got that all straightened out. We did fill you guys in on what's going on with the dowel pins.
Still in the process of, they have not fit yet.
Yeah, I don't know what we're going to do about that. I've taken a lot of material off that to the point that I'm not really thrilled about how that would even go on if I did get that filed down. So you fix the threads.
Yep, I got a helicoil kit in there. So helicoil number 3 on this engine, thread repair number like 18. But so hopefully I can get the TGVs on there, and then I can get the intake manifold on with all the wiring harness and be done with the top of this engine.
So pretty much that's all we have left. I mean, once we get this straightened out, we time it, it's pretty much done.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of accessories. We've got, you know, belt drive, like dumb shit, but like slap a clutch on it, put it in the car, and stop pushing a car.
Yeah. So the very next video, we will have this thing done. One way or another, it will be done on the stand.
Yes.
So we can finally move on to other parts of this build and get this thing running.
I might be insane wearing a straitjacket and have no hair left, but one way or another, hell or high water, this thing will be done.
And when it's in the car and it starts, that's when we'll fill you guys in on the story behind this engine.
Yeah, maybe at that point I won't be so sour and bittersweet about it.
We mentioned it several times, but okay, so we will see you guys in the next one.